Hello and welcome to the White Collar Fitness Radio, the ultimate podcast for professionals striving to achieve optimal performance in today's fast-paced age. I'm your host, Bruno Dalladoni, online body transformation specialist and founder of the Health Coach Fitness. I'm here to help you optimize your health and fitness, even if you're short on time. How are we doing, everybody? I'm going to open today with, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, rate 5 stars, Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening. It really helps the podcast, and I am really trying to grow this so I can give you guys better content. It can be there for years to come and hopefully really help you guys out on your fitness journeys. So please share with your friends. Okay, let's get into today's topic. Today, we're discussing exercise tempo, understanding what tempo actually is. So tempo is a weird concept, right? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just how fast or slow you perform a rep of any given exercise. But what does that actually mean? If you ever just go into a gym, any gym, you tend to see that people don't really control their weight so much as the weight they're doing, the machine they're doing, the exercise they're doing is actually controlling them. If you ever go into a proper bodybuilding gym, you tend to find that the people training, not always, and you always get the bro, but you tend to find that by and large, people are controlling the weight. And that is what we're talking about when we talk tempo. You can get as fancy or as not fancy as you want with this stuff. It literally just means how fast you perform a rep. But if you're trying to train properly, if you're trying to make progress, if you're trying to get somewhere with your training, paying attention to your tempo will make a huge difference. So, like I said, you'll make a difference, but why should you really care? And the big one there is muscle engagement, okay? And under muscle engagement, we can talk about different things, but normally, if you're just throwing your weight about, and that's how I'm going to refer to it because that's kind of what it looks like if you're not controlling your weight. If the weight's controlling you, it looks like you're just throwing it around. You're not necessarily getting the best stimulus for your muscle. And that's what you're trying to achieve when you exercise. You're trying to stimulate a muscle to either grow or perform better or whatever. And if you're not doing that intentionally, your body will find ways to cheat. Your body's very, very clever. It's way more clever than you are. That's for damn sure. It will figure ways around. So having some control over the weight will give the target muscle, whatever that is. If you're doing a bicep curl, then you give your biceps a better stimulus, a better workload. If it's a squat, it'll be your glutes and your quads. Having that control gives you, like I say, better stimulus, but it also improves your skill. So people tend to think that exercise, okay, this is just me, but my absolute pet hate is when you scroll through Instagram in fitness influencers telling people to do, I don't know, a single leg cable RDL for their glutes. No, don't do that. If you've never trained in your life, if you're, 17 years old, you're a 17-year-old girl, and at that point in your life, you're probably feeling a little bit body conscious because what sort of teenage girl doesn't? And some 30-year-old fitness influencer with an ass the size of a mountain, and you go, oh, that looks amazing. And then you see them doing a single leg cable RDL. You've never stepped a foot in the gym. Please do not do that. Like, that's just not how any of this works. You don't have the skill for it, right? Just the same as me, as a 5'6", and those of you that know me, stop laughing, 5'6" white guy, I can't compete in the NBA. It's just not how any of this works. I don't have the skill for it. So understanding that actually when you control the exercise, you get better skill. And let's take, say for example, let's take a lunge or a stationary lunge, which is also known as a split squat. Let's take a split squat as an example. You've split your legs, front and back, and you are going up and down. Amazing. To do that, you need to be able to control what's going on around your hips, around your knees, around your ankles, around your core, around your spine, around your neck, around your shoulders. And if at any one point any of those things goes a bit awry, your form will go to pot and you'll lose stimulus. Hopefully you can see that it's not just a case of doing a lunge. It's a case of doing a lunge effectively. And this is why I say, you wouldn't just, if you've never stepped in a gym, do a single leg cable RDL, or you wouldn't do a B stance hip thrust, right? Like all these buzzwords that fly around the internet, they're half the time pretty useless if you can't do the basics. For you to be able to, let's call it graduate and do these fancy things, you need to have skill. For you to have skill, you need to do the basics slowly so that your body and your brain can understand how to do that. So as you do things slowly, your brain and your muscle, they talk to each other. They go, oh, hey, how you doing? Haven't spoken to you in a while. Oh, yeah. Cool. It's called mind-muscle connection. And it's literally your brain's ability to control the muscle in a precise and finessed manner. Think about your dominant hand, right? So that's the hand you write with. Okay. If I gave you a pen for your non-dominant hand and told you to write, it'd look like scribble. It'd look like just meh. But if you just used that one hand for the next week, 2 weeks, month, all of a sudden, it stopped looking like a 2-year-old that's licking their own forehead and slightly drunk on tequila has written, and it'd look mildly legible. And the reason for that is that your brain is now talking to your muscles around your hands and your forearms, and it's getting you to do things with more finesse. The more you practice something, the better you get at it. Obviously, always and forever, we all know this. But for some reason, we don't treat exercise that way. For the gym bros out there that throw their stuff around, stop throwing your stuff around. You're not impressing anyone. And I will tell you, everyone is walking around thinking you have a small dick. So don't do that. Unless you do have a small dick, in which case, sorry. But otherwise, just reduce the weight, leave your ego at the door, get good at lifting, and you see that your results improve drastically. Okay. The next thing, I suppose the next logical question would be, how do you apply it? How do you make tempo work for you? Now, usually you have a 4-number format. So let's say a 2-1-2-1. Now we're talking gibberish. Amazing. The 4-number format always starts with the eccentric. You can think of the eccentric as the lowering phase. Usually, not always, but usually, it's when you are getting close to earth, let's say. The one exception that comes to mind just as I'm talking is a lat pull down, which is the inverse, but let's not complicate it. The way I like to think about it is the 3rd number is the effort. Okay? So for example, the 1st number will be the lowering phase on a squat, so you're going down. The 2nd number is the pause at the bottom. The 3rd number is the effort, is actually pushing that weight back up. And then the 4th number is the rest at the top. You can apply that across all exercises universally. If you're doing, say, for example, a pull-up, the 1st number is you going from the top, where you've squeezed, down, so that's the lowering phase. The second number is the pause at the bottom, fully stretched. The third number is the pull, so the effort. And the fourth number is the pause at the top. You can apply that universally to all exercises. The effort is the third number. The lowering, the controlled descent, if you want to get fancy and use big words, is the first. The two, so number 2 and number 4 along that line out of your 4-number format, they're the pauses. Okay? Hopefully I didn't make this too confusing, but it's lower, pause, effort, pause. Okay. It's usually counted in seconds, although when you're like in rep number 12 and there's tears in your eyes, those seconds tend to get quite quick. So if you need the aid of something external, then have a clock. So many people these days will have their phone on a timer just running when they're at the gym, and you can just eyeball those times and that counts. That's my, I suppose that's my advice, let's say, is make sure that you have mild understanding of tempo. Hopefully after listening to this, I haven't completely confused you, and apply it, slow it down. Lifting more weight with crap form does virtually no things for you, and you look like a chump anyway. Slow it down, good form, and watch the magic happen. Now, don't forget to, like I said at the start, like, subscribe, share, send it to your friends. Please, please, please rate the show 5 stars if you're liking it. And I'll catch you guys next time.